So hello there, just some quick tips. If you guys remember this drawing I did for player 067, if you noticed, since we were using the graphite pencil at that time, it's obviously we are not able to create proper contrast. You might call this the depth, okay? The amount of values, the value range you can achieve with graphite sometimes is limited. Alright, we know that. So if your drawings seem to be a little bit what you call that, needing some contrast, to add more depth to it, if you choose, just use a simple just use your charcoal pencil to add more depth by focusing on the darker parts of the image, like for example the crease, the edges, creases in the eyes here mostly. If it's Asian, or you usually find that the from the eyes here are dark. Okay, so in any drawing, again, we need to focus on, when we are drawing it at first, it's good to focus on your darkest and your lightest values, to find those, and then just put it on the paper so we can have a good measurement for how far we can take our image and create a realistic portrait out of it. Okay, because contrast is a really good way of enhancing the three-dimensionality of our drawing. So just like before, we can take our finished graphite drawing and then just enhance or darken certain parts of it, like the corner, the nose here, or the corner of the lips here. Mostly these parts are dark. Okay, and just using a soft, I'm using a soft charcoal pencil here, just adding some values, just darkening values little by little until we achieve this a cool effect of three-dimensionality. It's like we are deepening our shapes. Okay, and bringing out the shapes more by adding these values. Okay. Still, we can use our brush to soften this a little bit. Spread them out, like this. Just softly brush it. You don't have to press the brush into the paper. Just gently even out those values. Okay. Now, of course, if we start with charcoal, we can establish these darker values first using our charcoal, of course. But since it was a demo for a graphite pencil, and again, uh, some people like art that are a little bit on the faded side. I don't know if that's the right word, something with less, the darkness is not so dark, somewhat like old photo effect. But I think mostly people like drawings that have intense values to them. So if you can notice here, there's a difference between this part where I shaded, I added more shade here, so I added more value here by using the charcoal. Here we can turn this into a deeper shape here, adding a little lines of charcoal here. Okay, do that just very lightly there, just running the charcoal on top of that, and just adding some values, deepen this shape here. Okay. Now when you're doing this, sometimes the charcoal smudges too much, so we'll be using our eraser to correct it, or maybe just leave it there like that. Just focus on bringing out the forms more by darkening the dark values found in our reference. Okay. Let's put some highlights here so I can show you how much we can make something pop by adding by increasing our value range. Okay, more pencils, this one. Okay. So as you can see, the lips are popping out more. You can shade that a little bit, or you can lighten it by using our kneadable eraser here. But just tap it, no, don't be afraid. Just tap. Just tap that. The kneadable. Create that nice 3D effect there. Sometimes when we are beginners or just starting out, or maybe our visual impression of our reference is not so we're not too familiar with our reference, we can falsely assume values to be a certain way when they're not. Okay? Not that light, not that dark. So playing it on the safer side here allows us to just layer on our values instead of erasing them. You can layer the values. So if we get to a point like this, for example, you can just use your eraser there to lighten up these values again. And just keep that nice. And I think this one is too dark, so let's just remove that. Slightly still using a light pressure. Just like that. So sometimes our brushes already have lots of charcoal on it, so it would be best to clean it before using it. Just with a tissue or just wiping it off on a piece of paper or something like that. Okay. So we have that, but you totally don't need to do this. See, it's just for, if you want to deepen your shapes more, you need to add more, make it more 3D. You can see that. Kinda don't like this effect. This is from the image, but sometimes doesn't look good. Sometimes it's best to just leave the shape there and actually forming it. It's in the picture here. Kind of emphasizes her face here. The shape in his face. In her face, I mean. It's not as flattering. I think they were intentionally trying to hide this with makeup and lighting, but sometimes you just have to do it, and sometimes you need to hide it. So that's also one tip there. Sometimes we have to leave certain areas flat or single value or not defined at all, for the sake of, to beautify our model. And of course, if we copy every curve and shift in the face, gonna not only will it make our art look weird, but if you do it right, it's gonna look like the photo, which is, I guess, redundant. I mean, why would you need to draw a photo or a person and draw them exactly like the photo, right? But to each his own, I guess. Some people really do love that. So, not saying a rule here, just my opinion. I guess it's not a popular opinion for many people, but to me, for me at least, drawing a picture is too much. Okay, it's not efficient. Drawing a photo is no good. Not good for you as an artist, and not good for the client. Okay. Again, that's just me. Don't have to listen to anything I say. You can see here, there's that. Okay. So we can continue doing this, finish the image, or we can stop here. And I just want you to see the difference between a drawing with pretty much less contrast and an image with high contrast, or in this case a medium, I don't know, I think it's high contrast on this side, but on this side it was to show you that some details don't need to be there to complete an image, or to actually create a realistic portrait. Okay? Sometimes you don't need to draw everything and sometimes it can actually ruin a picture if you drew every detail, every wave of skin, or every turning, every imperfection. It's just gonna ruin your picture. So, guess that's it. Hope it helps.